Okay, weapons down.
Smash.
Go inside.
Smash.
Okay, so start off the Koshinaga there. You really have to, if you offer this so he can't grab it, he's not going to really have a go. You want to almost put it in his hand. Okay. So just a couple of things about TAI NO HENKO or Koshinaga there. I always do it around the point of the grip. So here, doesn't matter how hard this is, if my hand's going blue and my fingers are going like that, which will happen if they're super powerful, I still just leave that there and I'll turn the whole crab thing around. But then I'll try and get my hand under, protects my nerves, go from there. And it kind of starts the movement. But going from there, TAI NO HENKO, Koshinaga there is basically the strategy of he attacks and I blend and move to the blind side here. It's an angle where he can't see me. And I control him. I also cut the man behind. It comes from the sword. But I can use this for both attack and defense. So maybe he attacks me. I use his footwork in Urawaza all the time. Or another example might be Kotegaeshi. But I can also use it offensively. So he attacks and I attack him from the angle. And it doesn't really matter whether I can throw him here or whether he throws a kick. It doesn't really matter what it is, I can attack him from that angle. It could be like a roundhouse kick, doesn't matter. But what we're going to do now is an offensive use of it. So I'm going to attack his head, he protects himself. I'm going to grab his shoulder and I'm going to turn it. So here obviously I can finish it here and bust his arm, but I'm just going to keep him planted here. And if I hold his neck down here and bring this over his head, it's very hard to get up. Give it a go. So, one of the best uses of this is you can do this from any kind of strike, but we'll just use a straight strike to start with. I'm going to enter and get behind him. Right, I can finish this any way I like. Boom. Okay, give it a go. Okay. So this comes from weapons, right? We're going to do it all together. But, the idea is, this is for a gang fight really, although you can use it anyway. So if Gav is behind me, so imagine these guys are going to mug me. I want to go first, just because I don't want this guy jumping on my back. I'm going to attack him. Right, so he becomes my shield. Bang. So I'm putting him in my place. Doesn't matter how I finish this. Boom. Right. Again. And it's basically Irimi. Boom. Yeah. I'm going to take him off balance. If he balances there, I'm going to take him back the other way. Okay, onegaishimasu. So another great variation of this is this one. So I'm going to enter behind him, grab both his shoulders, and throw. Another variation of this is when I get behind him, I'm going to do a foot sweep. It's more of a kind of reverse Ashibarai. But, so here, I'm not kicking him, I'm taking him off balance and I'm stopping him take a step. Don't get overcomplicated. If you're not confident with that, don't do it. This is good enough. Here, and of course here, boom. It's a very tough technique. So, when Rama's here too, so it's the same thing. I can throw him this way, or I can take him this way. Onegaishimasu. Yeah. So another classic technique for this situation is, I'm going to grab Gav. Right, so say Rama's behind me, and he's going to hit me. I'm going to throw him. He takes the shot. right? So when you do Koshinaga in a group attack, I'm going to move through him and put him where I was. So don't throw each other, but I'm going to get, you're going to all be, what did you call, piggy in the middle. So he's going to attack and I'm going to throw, no, so you attacking and I'm going to throw him. You can just hold it, like don't, obviously if I throw it into his legs it's dangerous. But here he's going to attack me, I'm going to throw him. Okay, onegaishimasu. Hey. Irimi is always good for this, and it's basically a Tai no Henko movement. I'm going to enter, open, throw. For striking, there's any number of ways of doing this. Boom. Here. Again, go. Yeah. Right, so, but we're going to do a basic here. So it depends on the situation, what's happening here. If I want to run, I'm going to do this. Whoa. If I'm running that way. If there's a whole lot and I can't escape, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to throw him back into the circle. So Rama. I'm going to enter. Be a bit, make the range, you guys. This movement is really useful in multiple attack, but it's also useful for changing the angle and attacking here. Here. Boom. Right here. So, but I guess although I can pretty much put a Tai no Henko on the end of any technique, so say if I was doing Koshinaga, I could open and turn and throw, so there's no real change direction, there's no real situation I can't do it, but you only use it to be efficient. So Kotegaeshi is a good example. I guess no exposition of this basic technique without this movement would be Kotegaeshi. So if he kind of pulls a bit short, I'm probably at 90 degrees here. If he just keeps pushing through, I'm going to do the full Tai no Henko. Right? The key point is, especially if he's a grappler, this leg has to be outside his leg. If I don't get this all the way out, he can grab it, he'll crash into me. So the very first thing is I get this out. And then keep my balance and then finish however I finish. I can finish into a pin, to a break, or I can follow this up. I can follow this up on the ground. There's any number of ways I can finish this off. Kotegaeshi comes from the sword. So, move your head, go. Kotegaeshi comes from the sword. So, essentially the idea here is that I cut the man behind, then I cut this guy. Right? So, and then in Taijutsu it becomes Kotegaeshi. But if Rama has a sword, you'll see how this pertains to if you don't manage to grab his wrist. So there'd be a man coming up behind me here, Rama attacks, I cut this guy first, then I cut him, right? And so what that becomes is, put that down for a sec. So if I miss this, he pulls it back or whatever, I'm just going to strike him. Again, I get to the side, he pulls it back, boom. I mean, I could do this any number of ways, so it's not essential to grab hold of it. But when I start something and pulls it back, I'm going to try and keep it happening. Okay, but while we're here, we might as well do the progression from sword to empty hand. A Rama. So someone attacks me from behind and the front, I cut him, So same thing again, happens again. I take this. Right. Lastly, I don't have one. He attacks me with a sword. Hey! Take him away. And so then we get to empty hand. Anyway, give it a go. Onegaishimasu.